Before the rules changed in 2017, the LMP2 class had a unique charm marked by variety and creativity in the early to mid-2010s. Those were some good times, full of passion and creativity. That era of racing with distinctive prototypes like the Zytek Z11SN, Oreca 03, Ligier JSP2, and Honda ARX, each with its own shape and engine. Those exciting endurance races with both open and hardtop cars were memorable, taking us back to the roots of sports prototype racing. Since 2017, the LMP2 class has lost the wild diversity that defined its golden era and is now limited to a hardtop style for safety, exclusively the Oreca 07. In the world of endurance racing, few cars have left as lasting an impression as the Gibson-Nissan 015S. Born of a desire to push the limits of speed and innovation, the 015S quickly became a symbol of the golden era of LMP2 racing at prestigious events, the FIA World Endurance Championship and the 24 Hours of Le Mans. The 015S Nissan is among the last open-top sports prototypes before rules mandated hard tops for all race cars permanently. While Ligier and Oreca were popular chassis choices, Nissan was the dominant engine supplier. Even less common setups like a Mazda-powered Lola had a chance to win races, especially in the US. The 015S was not a ground-up redesign, but rather a highly successful upgrade of the already favored Zytek Z11SN chassis. It kept evolving to comply with new sports car rules, which helped it remain at the top of the LMP2 class. In sports prototype racing, teams usually hang on to a chassis and keep updating it over the years and sometimes rename it to adapt to changing regulations. That's just how it goes. So what this means for the Gibson 015 was an evolution. The chassis comes from the Zytek Z11SN. That's why both look similar and are technically the same car. In 2014, after a split in the Zytek group, the engineering and motorsport part led by founder Bill Gibson became Gibson Technology. They renamed their car the Gibson 015S, which received updates to improve its aerodynamics, safety, and ease of maintenance. The family tree of this specific car looks like this. It's basically an evolution that traces back to the Zytek 07S prototype of 2007. The Gibson 015S shares the same engine as the Zytek Z11SN and even other prototypes, such as the Oreca 03. They all power a Nissan 4.5-liter naturally aspirated V8, and this specific car had around 485 horsepower at the rear wheels and a 6-speed sequential paddle shift transmission. This engine for the LMP2 class was really popular and a dominant choice at the time. It was made by Oreca in France, with help from Nissan's Nismo sports division. The Oreca Nissan package became a highly successful combination, winning numerous races and championships around the world. The car was renowned for being reliable and lightweight while having a high revving exhaust sound that everyone loves. The legacy of the Gibson 015S was much like that of the Porsche RS Spyder that came before it. She became a legendary standard in the LMP2 class, fielded by privateer teams such as Jota Sport, Greaves Motorsport, G-Drive Racing, and Straka Racing. Teams like Greaves and Jota, with the car going by its original Zytek name, managed to snag the LMP2 category win at the 24 Hours of Le Mans in both 2011 and 2014. Speaking of Le Mans 2013, I want you to appreciate this LMP2 car that secured a solid third-place finish, driven by a graduate of the Nissan GT Academy, Jan Mardenborough. This man put in the work and showed what he made of it, who played Gran Turismo a lot as a kid. He made this car even more famous, and here's something cool. This car has been celebrated in the Gran Turismo series on PlayStation, so if any of you gamers watching, you might recognize it. In 2015, the Gibson 015S was straight up killing it in the LMP2 sports car racing scene with top privateer teams Greaves Motorsport and Jota Sport. It took home the European Le Mans Series, Team and Drivers Championships, snagged a class victory at the WEC 6 Hours of Spa, and even made it to the podium, finishing second at the iconic 24 Hours of Le Mans. She was truly a force to be reckoned with. In the 2015 ELMS, Greaves Motorsport won the LMP2 Teams Championship by 2 points, securing victories at Silverstone and Paul Ricard. Their drivers Gary Hirsch, Bjorn Wertheim, and John Lancaster took home the driver's title. Meanwhile, Jota Sport pulled off an amazing LMP2 Class 1 at this important WEC 6-hour Spa race. 2016 was a year where the G-Drive racing team, with Simon Dolan, Harry Tanknell, and Gito Vandergaard behind the wheel, really brought the heat. They secured the ELMS title again by 7 points, and when I say they did it with a bang, I mean they put in work. This crew was fierce on the track, battling it out at the front all season long. Their number 38 Gibson was like a rocket, consistently posting the fastest practice times at tracks like the Red Bull Ring. They didn't just slide into second place, they fought hard to earn that vice champion title in the LMP2 Championship. Now, at Le Mans, the G-Drive Gibson was just on fire. They were leading strongly until a crash took them out mid-race. But trust me, the car had the heart and the power to compete. The Nissan engines were impressive, powering 10 cars in the LMP2 category, most of which finished the race. Straka Racing secured 4th in their class and 8th overall, which is really impressive for the Gibson 015S. They campaigned the Gibson 015S throughout the WEC season, racking up top 5 and top 7 finishes despite being on its last legs. The car held its ground, showing solid pace and trustworthiness. A decade ago, we had some real machines on the track, like the 015S. That car was a beast, but then the rules changed. By the end of 2016, that was it for the Gibson 015S. New regulations for LMP2 came into effect in 2017, and FIA ACO mandated only hardtop prototypes and a new single-spec Gibson V8 engine, as we see today. It's a shame because cars like that had style and power. Now it feels like they took away some of the soul of racing. We missed the diversity that had its own character. Just remember, sometimes the fun in racing isn't just about the rules. It's about the connection with those machines. We had all these different designs out there, cars with their own personalities. The Gibson 015S was one of the last open-top models before the rules changed everything to hard tops. That car had soul. It was built off the Zytek Z11 chassis, but when they upgraded it, they brought it to life in a way that made it unstoppable. It made history, especially at Le Mans, where they took home some major wins and 2 ELMS titles. And about Jan Mardenborough, a dude who went from playing Gran Turismo to driving this real powerhouse. This same car you game with was out here dominating the real tracks. She just connected people in a way. She won championships left and right and became a household name. You couldn't talk about endurance racing without mentioning her. But then, since those rules changed, we lost that diversity we loved. Now it feels like everything's kinda uniform and a bit soulless for LMP2. So, what we miss is more than just the car. It's the excitement, the passion, the creativity that came with racing back in those days. The 015S was a symbol of that, a reminder of a time when every car had its own story and personality. When you look back at it, you realize just how special it was, and we wish we could go back there again. That's it for this video. I hope y'all enjoyed this video and learned something new. If you did, like and subscribe to my YouTube channel for some more motorsports and car content. Matter of fact, here's another video that's related to this one, the Porsche RS Spyder. Check it out. Anyways, thank you so much for checking in, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out and stay safe. Christheradar out.